This is ATN Global News. First, the headlines. Rivers Police deny court order stopping tinted glass enforcement. IPAC calls for independent panel to appoint INEC chairman. Reps dismiss US bill alleging religious persecution in Nigeria. Now, GAM blames middlemen for cooking gas price hike. Ethiopia accuses Eritrea of plotting to launch new war. Cristiano Ronaldo joins billionaires club worth $1.4 billion. Offset speaks on rumored affairs with Sawiti failed marriage. Rivers State Police Command has denied knowledge of any court order restraining it from enforcing the tinted glass permit regulation. Commissioner of Police Olubenga Adepoju stated this while leading officers on an enforcement exercise across the state. Adepoju explained that the enforcement of the tinted glass permit law, earlier suspended, has now resumed following a period of public sensitization to allow motorists comply. He warned that vehicles without valid permits will be impounded until their owners obtain proper authorization from the police. Rivers State Police Command has declared one favor, surname unknown, aged 19-year, missing. A statement by the spokesperson for the Rivers State Police Command, Superintendent of Police SP Grace Eringekoko, disclosed that Ms. Favor is a native of Tiv in Tiv local government area of Benue State, but resides at Akanaka off New Road by Okilton Road, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. According to the police statement, Ms. Favor is dark in complexion, about 5.4 feet tall, speaks Benue and English languages fluently. She left home on the 3rd of October 2025 to unknown place. All efforts made to trace her whereabouts proved abortive. The police in the statement encouraged any person with useful information as to whereabouts to contact Mr. Chikodi, Eke's daughter, or report to the nearest police station. Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned to Friday, October 10, 2025, the hearing of the suits filed by former House of Representatives member and 2023 Rivers State governorship aspirant Dr. Farah Dagogo, challenging the legality of the emergency rule earlier imposed on Rivers State by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Justice James Omotosho gave the directive after urging a plaintiff to file a written address to substantiate his argument that the court has jurisdiction to entertain the case. During the proceedings, counsel to the first president, President Tinubu, Babatunde Ogalasan, urged the court to rely on its earlier rulings on similar matters that were dismissed for lack of jurisdiction. However, Dr. Dagogo's counsel, Barrister Babafemi Adegbite, sought to make an oral argument, insisting that the present suit was distinct and should not be dismissed on the same grounds. The case was originally filed at the Port Harcourt Division of the Federal High Court, but was later transferred to Abuja following the directive from the Attorney General of the Federation to the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court. Speaking with journalists after the sitting, Dr. Dagogo, through his counsel, reiterated that despite the lifting of the emergency rule, the constitutional issue at stake remains unresolved. He warned that leaving the matter unaddressed could set a dangerous precedent that might embolden future administrations to suspend elected officials for political reasons. Anambra State Governor Professor Chukwuma Soludo has lauded the invaluable contributions of teachers to society, emphasizing their critical role in shaping the future of education in Anambra State. According to a press statement released by the governor's press secretary, Christian Aburime, on Wednesday, the governor urged appreciation for teachers worldwide, highlighting particularly the efforts of teachers in Anambra. Soludo expressed gratitude for the dedication and hard work of educators, noting that everyone was brought up by a teacher. The governor stated that in order to combat historical neglect of the education sector, his government successfully recruited 115 teachers, through a competitive process that drew applicants from 18 states across Nigeria. As the governor's message reverberates through the state, the focus on bolstering the teaching force is seen as a critical step toward elevating educational standards and securing a brighter future for the children of the Anambra. Also at the event, the State Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chuma Ude, addressed attendees acknowledging the significant influence educators have on the people. Chuma Ude also expressed her commitment to promoting the ongoing efforts of the state government in education. Movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra has distanced itself from a sit-at-home order reportedly declared by some pro-Biafra activists ahead of the November 8th Anambra governorship election. Masob, in a statement on Wednesday by its leader Uche Madu, described those calling for the seat at home as disgruntled elements sponsored to create political instability and incite chaos in Igbo land. The group assured residents of Anambra State that the election would hold as scheduled and said it had begun sensitizing residents and members of other pro-Biafra groups to participate in the poll. The group encouraged the Independent National Electoral Commission to go ahead with without distraction in conducting the governorship election. The group advised the people of Anambra State and other residents in the state to exercise their fundamental and constitutional rights of choosing their next governor. It clarified that the group's position did not signify a departure from its self-determination struggle, but a prioritization of Igbo interests. The State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has revived the state's moribund emergency medical services to ensure the prompt rescue and treatment of accident victims at the government's expense. The EMS, established by a previous administration, had been inactive for years before being restructured for renewed operation. Speaking at the 2025 Annual Social Scientific Conference and Training of the Association of Medical Social Workers of Nigeria, held at the University of Medical Sciences, Ondo, the governor said the initiative had been rebranded to improve response time and service delivery. Aiyedatiwa, who was represented by his special advisor on health matters, Professor Timidele Odimayo, said the innovation works were ongoing at EMS base stations in Bolorundro, Ondo East, Ibara, Oke, Ifedore, and Ore, Odibo. The governor commended medical social workers for their role in bridging socio-economic gaps in healthcare access, noting that the state was also implementing reforms across its tertiary and secondary health facilities to restore public confidence in the health sector. In his address, the Chief Medical Director of Unimed Teaching Hospital, Dr. Michael Igbala, stressed the need for medical social workers to play a more strategic role in promoting equity in healthcare delivery, ensuring that access to quality care is not determined by geography, social status, or educational background. The State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has called for collaboration to develop the tertiary education sector of the state. Aiyedatiwa said the collaboration was needed to address accommodation challenges faced by students of tertiary institutions in the state, reiterating that the government alone could not meet all their needs. He said this during a meeting with student representatives of the Adekunle Ajasin University, Akungba Akoko, at his office in Akure, the state capital. This was contained in a statement issued by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Mr. Ebenezer Adeniyon, on Wednesday. According to the statement, the governor, who commended the students for their peaceful conduct, affirmed that since his assumption of office, there had been no reports of unrest or violent agitation within the students' community, a development he credited to their discipline and constructive engagement. He called on private investors to build hostels within and around campuses to complement government efforts and enhance the security of the students. Aiyedatiwa reiterated his administration's renewed focus on technical and vocational education, describing it as vital to industrial growth and job creation. He also pledged to resolve the electricity supply challenges at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, expressing optimism that the issue would be addressed promptly to enhance academic and research productivity. As part of his administration's commitment to student welfare, the governor announced the approval of 5 new buses for student bodies across tertiary institutions in the state, with more to come. At least 3 people have been killed in a court-related clash that occurred in Atan Ota, Ogun State. A security source who spoke on condition of anonymity due to the sensitive nature of the matter said that the incident in Atan Ota happened around 8 p.m. on Monday in the Kajula area. According to the source, the violent confrontation involved suspected members of the Aye and Eye confraternities. The attack, allegedly carried out by Aye members, was believed to be a reprisal for the earlier killing of one of their members by the rival group. The source explained that the assailants invaded the area, firing multiple gunshots to instill panic before killing 3 people suspected to belong to the Eye cult group. Efforts to get comments from the Ogun State Police Public Relations Officer Omolola Odutola was unsuccessful, as she had not responded to inquiries at press time. Operatives of the Kwara State Fire Service on Wednesday recovered the lifeless body of a man suspected to be mentally unstable from the Asa River near Emirs Road in Ilorin, the state capital. The incident, which occurred around 11:06 a.m., caused panic among residents and passersby who gathered at the scene as the body floated on the river. According to a statement by the head of media and publicity of the Kwara State Fire Service, PFO Hassan Hakim Adekunle, the victim's identity could not be immediately confirmed, although witnesses claimed he was mentally challenged. The director of the State Fire Service, Prince Faraday John Olumuyiwa, described the incident as unfortunate and sympathized with the deceased family and the general public. He urged residents to exercise caution and avoid risky activities around rivers, streams, and other water bodies, especially during the rainy season, to prevent similar tragedies. Olumuyiwa reiterated the commitment of the State's Fire Service to responding promptly to emergencies and safeguarding lives and property across Kwara State. Similarly, the body of a 15-year-old boy was recovered from a pond in Gabari Village, Garaki, local government area of Jigawa State. Confirming the incident on October 2, 2025, in a statement issued in Duse, the state capital, the spokesperson of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Jigawa State Command ASC Badaruddin Tijani, said the deceased Sunusi Abubakar was discovered lifeless in the pond locally called Mahayin Gidan Toro, about 1.5 kilometers north of Gabari Village around 9 a.m. on October 1. Federal Roads Maintenance Agency launched a special intervention codenamed Operation Safeguard the Roads on Tuesday, aimed at reducing road traffic crashes in Kogi State. The program was inaugurated by Mr. Mokhtar Abdurrahim, the Federal Roads Maintenance Engineer in the state, at Okadamu along the Itobe Ayingba Road. Abdurrahim explained that the initiative seeks to enhance the efficiency of federal roads for motorists while providing opportunities for youths along the road corridors. He added that the program aims to improve road safety, reduce travel time and cost, and provide temporary employment opportunities for youths in communities along major federal roads. He further highlighted that the program would include controlling vegetation along the roads to enhance visibility, reduce road crashes, and desist lined drains and covers to prevent flooding and lower maintenance costs. Abdurrahim expressed gratitude to FEMA Managing Director Dr. Chukwu Emeka Agbasi for initiating the program. ATN reports that on September 5, 2025, a survivor recounted a dramatic crash involving a car veering off the road and somersaulting, though specific casualty numbers were not detailed. On August 14, 2025, one person died and 5 others were injured in a lone vehicle crash along Lokoja or Bajana Kaba Road due to excessive speed, causing loss of control and somersault. United Nations Students Fund, in partnership with the Borno State government, has launched a vocational training program aimed at empowering 1,033 children affected by armed conflicts in the state. Speaking during the launch on Wednesday in Maiduguri, UNICEF country representatives Wafa Saeed said the initiative would equip children with practical market-driven skills such as tailoring, ICT, car mechanics, shoemaking, and carpentry. Saeed was represented by UNICEF Child Protection Manager Shah Mohammed Khan, said many children and adolescents in the region, especially girls, had been denied the chance to learn skills or pursue their dreams due to years of conflict. She added that the prolonged insurgency in the northeast had exposed children to abductions, sexual violence, and other grave violations, while also depriving families of livelihoods opportunities. According to her, the training will combine vocational and life skills, psychosocial support, and official certification to ensure that participants are equipped for sustainable livelihood. Also speaking, the Borno State Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Abba Wakibe, commended UNICEF and other UN agencies, including UNDP, IOM, and UNODC, for supporting the initiative. He described the program as life-changing for many children who had been victims of abduction and forced recruitment by insurgents. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has said that Nigeria needs local and international investment to progress. The former president stated this while commissioning the newly constructed Sir Ahmadu Bello International Conference Center in Bauchi, describing it as a world-class facility capable of positioning the state as a major hub for investment and tourism in Nigeria. Speaking during the commissioning ceremony, Obasanjo commended the Bauchi state government under the leadership of Governor Bala Mohammed for the initiative, noting that the project was a testament to the state's vision for growth and global relevance. The former president added that the newly commissioned facility would promote interaction, tourism, and business engagement, stressing that the states could leverage it to attract both local and international investors. Also speaking, the Chief Executive Officer of Architectronics Nigeria Limited, Ruben Okoha, whose firm handled the project, described the facility as a masterpiece conceived, initiated, and completed under the visionary leadership of Governor Bala Mohammed. Federal Capital Territory Administration has flagged off the provision of engineering infrastructure to outstanding layouts within Guzape A A09 Lots 1 and 2 and AIT neighbors in Asokoro A04 district. In his address at official flag ceremony, FCT Minister Barrister Yusuf Wike called on residents to appreciate the work Mr. President through him in FCT, stressing that in appreciation, the President will do in delivering a dividend of democracy.
And they were saying, God will bless President Tinubu, God will bless this, God will bless that. So it is only when he gets to Yabdamot, that's when you remember God will bless this person, God will bless this person. But what is important is that we appreciate and know that it is the intention of Mr. President to make sure that every part of Abuja, particularly the cities, has infrastructure, has road networks that will make the city to be what it is. Look at the kind of structures there. This is my first time of coming along this area. And those who are living here, what would they be saying tomorrow? Would they say that they have not impact of the Tinubu's administration? They have been here for years, no road. But Tinubu has come, now there is a road. Would you say you don't have no impact at all, as far as Tinubu's administration is concerned? So the truth must be told. And that's why we always say that something that was not done yesterday, or if previous government took it serious and we are committed to make sure our city, our capital city, looks like other cities of the world. By now we wouldn't have been talking about completing these other layouts. But anytime you wake up, it's your own morning. Now that a new government has come, a new government is established to change the narrative, we have no choice but to continue to support that government. So at the end of the day, we will benefit from the dividends of democracy.
Presenting the project overview, the Executive Secretary Engineer Richard Dauda highlighted the significance of the project.
These outstanding layouts are located at various neighborhoods within these districts and other layouts that are contiguous to them. In order to complete this outstanding infrastructure and these additional layouts of the districts, the FCT administration processed and the Federal Executive Council approved the award of the contract for engineering infrastructure to outstanding areas within Asokoro and Guzape districts. Your Excellency, the project was awarded to Messrs. Dantata and Sawo Construction Company Nigeria Limited in March 2025, and the project is expected to be completed within 18 months. Your Excellency, the scope of works for this project includes provision of infrastructure to about 24 short roads, totaling about 9.2 kilometers. This infrastructure to be provided also includes earthworks, surface water drainage pipe network, asphalt paved roads, box and pipe culverts, foul sewer drainage network, water distribution pipe network, street lighting, power supply, and telecommunication ducts. Your Excellency, during the construction phase, opportunity for job creation for skilled and unskilled labor will avail. And when completed, the project will provide good access roads and engineering infrastructure to the outstanding areas of Asokoro and Guzape districts, thereby enhancing movement, interconnectivity for residents, and providing the full and complete infrastructure to this area.
Independent National Electoral Commission has extended the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise at the ward level across the Federal Capital Territory by 4 days. This decision was made during INEC's third quarterly meeting with resident electoral commissioners held on Tuesday, where ongoing electoral activities were reviewed. In a statement released on Wednesday by the Director, Voter Education and Publicity Department, Victoria Etta Messi, INEC confirmed that the registration, which was originally set to end today, will now continue until Sunday, October 12, 2025. The voter registration at the ward level began on September 5, 2025. INEC reaffirmed that the online pre-registration option remains suspended in the FCT, emphasizing that all pre-registrants must complete their registration in person at designated centers. The electoral body urged all eligible citizens who have not yet registered to seize the opportunity of the extended timeline. It also encouraged registered voters seeking to transfer their registration either into or within the FCT to do so within the extended period. However, it warned against multiple registrations, describing it as a punishable offense under the law. INEC assured the public that the list and addresses of all registration centers remain accessible on its website and official social media platforms. Federal Capital Territory Command of the Nigeria Police Force on Wednesday said the enforcement of the vehicle tinted glass permits has been suspended. Spokesperson for the FCT Command, Josephine Ade, said the suspension followed a court order halting the exercise. In an interview, Ade said the decision came after the police officially received the court order. She explained that the directive to suspend enforcement would remain in place pending the outcome of the ongoing legal process. Ade, who noted that tinted glass permits was introduced for security reasons, they stressed that some criminal activities had been carried out using vehicles with darkened windows. 2 armed bandits have been killed in a midnight gun battle with security operatives in Madagi District, Goso, local government area of Zamfara State. According to security analyst Zagozala Makama, who shared the update on X on Wednesday, the operation followed credible intelligence about a planned attack by bandits on villages in the Mada area. Makama said that at about 3:10 a.m. on Tuesday, October 7, a joint team of police attacked 2 operatives, community protection guards, and local hunters laid an ambush for the bandits at Fegin Mahe village along their suspected route. He explained that 3 armed bandits approached the area but were engaged in a fierce action of gunfire by the security team. Popular now, the Zamfara State Police Command confirmed the incident, saying efforts were ongoing to track down the fleeing suspect and ensure that peace is maintained in the area. President Bola Tinubu has signed the Nigeria Police Training Institutions Establishment Bill 2024 into law, formally establishing 48 specialized police training academies across the nation. 18 reports that the bill, sponsored by Senator Ahmed Abdul Hamid Malam Madori, aims to institutionalize police education, promote continuous professional development, and align new enforcement practices with global standards. The new legislation categorizes the training institutions into 5 major types: police colleges, police training schools, police tactical schools, police technical training schools, and other specialized institutions. These academies are strategically located across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones. Key police colleges now legally recognized include those in Ikeja, Lagos, Kaduna, Maiduguri, Borno, Oju River, Enugu, Jos Plateau, and Enugu. In the second tier, police training schools have been established in locations such as Bauchi, Mina, Sokoto, Benin, Calabar, Ilorin, Ibadan, Iperu, Jos, Owerri, Non-Watai, Oyin, Akoko, Ekiti, Gwaram, Malabu, Fufore, Bende, and other strategic locations, ensuring training reaches all levels of police formations. The police tactical schools are now providing elite operational training, which include mobile training centers in Gwoza, Borno, Ila Oragun, Oshun, and Ende Hill, Nasarawa. Counter-terrorism unit skills in Non-Watai, Rivers, and Gombe, and a specialized protection unit in Afin Hausa, Jigsaw. K9 training school, Bukuru, Jos, and Marine training school in Toru, Orua, Bayelsa. Senators formally sworn in 2 newly elected senators, Joseph Ikpeya and Emmanuel Nwachukwu, representing Edo Central and Anambra South senatorial districts, respectively. The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, presided over the ceremony during plenary on Wednesday, with the Clerk of the Senate, Emmanuel Ojo, administering the oath of office and allegiance to the new lawmakers. The swearing-in follows recent by-elections conducted to fill 2 vacant Senate seats, one previously held by Monday Okpebelo, now governor of Edo State, and the other by the late Senator Ifeanyi Uba, who passed away in July 2024. Before the ceremony, the Senate temporarily relaxed its rules to allow family members and dignitaries into the chamber to witness the event. Among the high-profile guests were former Delta State Governor James Ibori, former Edo State Deputy Governor and Director General of the Nigerian Institute of Sports, Philip Shuaibu, and other prominent political figures. Senator Akpabio urged the new lawmakers to diligently study and abide by the Senate standing rules. With the addition of Senator Ikpeya and Nwachukwu, the Senate now retains its full complement of 109 members.
Was he a former senator? Then you come under...
President Bola Tinubu has denied assent to the bill for the establishment of Nigeria Institute for Transport Technology, citing constitutional defect. In a letter to the Senate on Tuesday, President Tinubu explained that the bill is not in consonance with certain provisions of the law, especially with regards to borrowing. According to him, the aspect of the bill that empowers the management of the institute to access funds may lead to financial abuse if not properly stated. In his remarks, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, thanked Tinubu for being able to identify the flaws in the bill and thereafter referred it to the Committee of the Whole for more legislative work.
Pursuant to Section 58(4) of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, I hereby convey to the Senate my decision to decline assent to the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology Establishment Bill 2025. The rationale for my decision is that the bill is tainted with fundamental defects, such as Section 18, subsection 4A. The bill expands the source of funding the National Transport Logistics Research to include 1% of the freight on every import and every export from Nigeria without the approval of the Federal Executive Council. Here, I want to thank the President for taking time to go through each and every bill that we sent to the Executive. This is very, very impressive because it means that the Executive took time to go through clause by clause. And so we will do justice to all the observations put forward by the President. So this is again committed to the Committee of the Whole Senate.
As part of moves aimed at restoring Nigeria's global reputation, the Senate on Tuesday advanced a bill that would strip Nigerians convicted of crimes abroad of their international passports for a minimum of 10 years. The bill, sponsored by Senator Abubakar Bello, Niger North, seeks to amend the Passport Miscellaneous Provisions Act, introducing tough penalties designed to deter criminal conduct by Nigerians overseas and repair the tarnished image of the Nigerian passport. Leading the debate on the floor, Senator Onawo Ogwoshi, speaking on behalf of the sponsor, described the bill as imperative and compelling, underscored that it will serve as a strong deterrent to those who damage Nigeria's international reputation through criminal activity. According to the proposed legislation, any Nigerian convicted of a crime in a foreign country would have their passports withdrawn for a decade following the completion of their sentence. Lawmakers argued the measure will both punish wrongdoers and signal to the global community that Nigeria is committed to accountability. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has expressed concern over food deficit in the country, declaring that more than 33 million Nigerians suffer from acute hunger. Senator Akpabio stated this in a remark at the resumption of plenary on Tuesday in Abuja after over a 2-month recess. Akpabio maintained that the only way to address the food crisis currently rocking the country is to resort to mechanized farming. Speaking further, the Senate President drew attention to terrorism, banditry, and national grid collapse as some of the challenges facing the people and called for an immediate end to them all.
Over 33 million Nigerians face acute food insecurity, a crisis demanding urgent legislative attention, particularly in areas of agriculture, rural roads, irrigation, and mechanization. This must be introduced. Hunger cannot be defeated with words. Hunger requires policy direction, diligent budgeting, and willpower to defeat it. Our people do not look to us for lamentations. That is not why they voted us. They look to us for action. The banners of terrorism and banditry still threaten the very countrysides of Nigeria. The cost of living weighs upon the families and all tables in the nation like iron chains.
Meanwhile, Senator Natasha Akpotudwagan, representing Kogi Central, resumed plenary at the National Assembly on Tuesday. Natasha, who rounded off her 6-month suspension, officially resumed her seat in the Senate on Tuesday At exactly 11:42 a.m., she walked into the Senate chambers, made her way to her seat, and after taking it, exchanged pleasantries with a few senators. We go on a break, and when we return, we'll dive right into the rest of our stories. Do stay tuned.
These are exciting times for broadcasting in Africa. The National Broadcasting Commission is set to host the 14th Biennial Conference and Exhibition of African Broadcasters, Africast 2025 in Lagos, Nigeria. Participants will experience a week of world-class expositions showcasing the very best in creativity, innovation, and cutting-edge broadcasting technological advancement and trends in the global broadcast media ecosystem. Theme: Navigating the Digital Surge, Building a Resilient Africa Media Ecosystem for the Future. Date: Monday, October 20th to Friday, October 24th, 2025. Venue: Balmoral Convention Center, Sheraton, Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria. Time: 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily. Visit www.africastexpo.com or email info@nbc.gov.ng. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting. Announcer, Management.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. House of Representatives has rejected narratives that portray Nigeria's security challenges as religiously motivated or state-sponsored. This position comes in response to a bill introduced in the United States Congress on March 11, 2025. The resolution seeks to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern for allegedly engaging and tolerating systematic, ongoing and egregious violations of religious freedom. In reaction, the House mandated relevant government agencies, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to compile and transmit empirical evidence that counters the claims made in the U.S. bill. The resolution followed a motion of urgent public importance moved by the Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and was unanimously supported by members of the House. Lawmakers argue that Nigeria is not facing a religious crisis and stressed the need for prompt diplomatic action to ensure the bill does not gain traction in the U.S. Congress. 2 weeks ago, the federal government dismissed claims that terrorists in Nigeria are carrying out a systematic genocide against Christians, describing the allegations as false, baseless, unspeakable, and divisive. In a statement, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said portraying Nigeria's security challenges as a targeted campaign against a single religious group is a gross misrepresentation of reality. Following the resumption of plenary by the House after its annual 2-month recess, the Speaker, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, has pledged the Green Chamber readiness to tackle key legislative responsibilities. In his welcome address, Abbas emphasized the importance of the legislator's role in Nigeria's progress, particularly in providing rigorous oversight and crafting sound laws. He noted that the renewed hope government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has pursued reforms to stabilize the economy, enhance security, and attract investment. The Speaker further highlighted the significance of the lawmakers' interaction with their constituents during the recess, which provided valuable insights into the real struggles and expectations of citizens. He said the legislature must respond effectively to the needs of the people and work towards improving their daily lives, stressing that the lawmakers' engagement with their constituents is crucial in informing legislative decisions and ensuring that the needs of the people are addressed. He urged members to renew their commitment to legislative reforms that will impact the lives of citizens. He said despite challenges, the 10th House has recorded the most productive since 1999.
The main body of the letter reads as follows. The purpose of this letter is to seek a resolution of the House of Representatives pursuant to the provisions of Section 21, subsection 1, and Section 27, subsection 1 of the Debt Management Office Establishment Act 2003. 2. The new external borrowing of 1,843,843,777 669,786 naira 98 kobo, which is equivalent to $1,229,113,000 at the budget exchange rate of $1 to 1,500 naira in the 2025 Appropriation Act for the part financing of the budget deficit. 2, refinance the $1,118,352,000 euro bonds at 7.625%, USD 1.118 billion, November 2025, which is maturing on November 21st, 2025.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has described the resignation of the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Nnaji, as an attempt to whitewash yet another scandal. Nnaji resigned on Tuesday after an investigation by Premium Times alleged that he submitted forged academic and NYC certificates to the Senate during his ministerial screening in 2023. Both the University of Nigeria in Nsukka and the National Youth Service Corps reportedly disowned the documents. Reacting on Wednesday in a post on X, Atiku said the minister should have been dismissed and prosecuted rather than being allowed to quietly exit through the back door. He also criticized the Department of State Services, alleging that the same agency that disqualified former Kaduna State Governor Nasser El-Rufai from ministerial screening over security concerns had cleared Nnaji despite alleged discrepancies in his credentials. The former vice president, who was the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 election, linked the controversy to what he described as a pattern of deceit that begins from the very top. He called for an independent investigation into the credentials of all members of the Federal Executive Council, including the president, insisting that Nigerians deserve to know the truth about those in public office. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Nigeria Customs Service have resolved to deepen their collaborations against money laundering, smuggling, and other economic crimes. This resolution was reached on Monday when the newly appointed Customs Area Controller of the Oyo and Osun Area Command, Commissioner G.I. Aliyu, paid a familiarization visit to the Acting Director of the Ibadan Zonal Office of the EFCC, Assistant Commander of the EFCC, Ace 1 Hawa Ringim. This was contained in a statement by the head of media and publicity of EFCC, Dele Oyewale, in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, on Wednesday. He described that the command under his leadership was committed to deepening inter-agency collaboration with the EFCC and other key security and law enforcement agencies. He therefore commended the Olukoyede leadership of the EFCC for its remarkable achievements in the area of asset recovery, enforcement, prevention and public enlightenment, and sensitization on corruption, economic and financial crimes. In a response, Ringim expressed delight with the visit, noting that it was a clear and unequivocal step towards achieving the mandates of both agencies. She assured the controller of EFCC's willingness for a strategic partnership, joint task force engagement, and exchange of actionable intelligence with the NCS, noting that such partnership and collaborations will see to the growth of national economy and civil financial space. Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has adjourned the trial of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, on alleged terrorism to October 16th. The trial was adjourned following the inability of the Nigerian Medical Association to present its report on the health status of Kanu to the court. At the last adjourned date, Justice Omotosho ordered the president of the Nigerian Medical Association to constitute a board of medical experts to investigate the alleged deteriorating health of the defendant and to determine whether the medical facility at the Department of State Services headquarters is adequate for his care or if he should be moved to a private ward at the National Hospital. The report is also to determine whether Kanu is fit to stand for the continuation of his trial. At the day's proceeding, counsel to the federal government, Suraj Saad, informed the court that the medical board had contacted them that the report was not ready for presentation as directed by the court. The senior lawyer therefore applied for a week adjournment to enable the NMA medical board to conclude its investigation. Following no objection to the adjournment request, Justice Omotosho fixed October 16th for the board to submit its report. Federal government has appealed to the Academic Staff Union of Universities to shelve its planned strike, assuring that it is committed to addressing all outstanding demands raised by the union. Addressing a news conference in Abuja on Wednesday, the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, said the federal government is already looking into the demands of the union and progress is already being made in the ongoing negotiations between both parties. The minister explained that the Mahmoud Yahya Ahmed Federal Government Tertiary Institutions Expanded Negotiation Committee has been reconstituted and inaugurated to fast-track talks with both academic and non-academic unions, universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. He added that President Bola Tinubu had given clear directives that all efforts must be made to avoid another disruption in the nation's tertiary institutions. The union announced the decision to embark on a 14-day warning strike following a National Executive Council meeting held on Sunday at the University of Abuja. In a notice of strike action signed by the national president of ASU, Chris Piwuna, the union decried the neglect of the university system and the government's consistent refusal to heed to its demand. Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions have declared a one-day protest for Thursday over the federal government's failure to meet their demands. Acting under the Joint Action Committee, both unions have directed all their branches to hold joint emergency meetings on Wednesday to mobilize members for protest activities. This will include marches on campuses, placard displays, and press briefings. The decision followed the comprehensive review of government actions at JAC's meeting on October 6, after several ultimatums had expired without resolution. Among the contentious issues are the alleged inequitable disbursement of the 50 billion naira earned allowances, delays in renegotiating the 2009 federal government and NASU/SANU agreements, non-payment of 2 months outstanding salaries, arrears of 25 and 35% salary increment, and non-remittance of third-party deductions for May and June 2022. JAC had earlier issued a 7-day ultimatum to the government on September 15, later extending it by another 14 days, which expired on Monday, October 6. In a circular dated October 6 entitled Commencement of Protest Actions, signed by NASU General Secretary Prince Peters Adeyemi and SANU National President Comrade Mohammed Ibrahim, the unions directed full participation by all members. Inter-Party Advisory Council has called for the removal of the power to appoint the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission from the office of the president, urging instead for the establishment of an independent committee to handle such appointment. IPAC President Dr. Yusuf Maman Dantale made the call during a meeting with the House of Representatives Committee on Constitutional Review in Abuja. He argued that the current system, which gives the president the authority to appoint the INEC chairman, could undermine public trust in the electoral body. He added that such a reform would promote fairness and transparency in elections, especially in light of recurring complaints about the conduct of past polls. IPAC's position aligns with the views previously expressed by former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan, who also advocated reforms in the appointment process of the INEC leadership to strengthen electoral credibility. According to them, such constitutional reforms would help restore public confidence in Nigeria's democratic process ahead of the 2027 general elections. Some political parties have proposed that only parties with representation in the National Assembly should be allowed to nominate candidates for the position. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Muslim Youth Association has urged the National Assembly to support a bill seeking to remove the power of the president and state governors to appoint electoral commissioners for INEC and state independent electoral commissions. Federal Ministry of Youth Development has officially announced the withdrawal of the registration certificate of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. This decisive action follows an official communication from the Corporate Affairs Commission dated October 6, 2025, which revoked the certificate originally issued to the Council on October 28, 2020. According to a statement released by the Ministry's Director of Information and Public Relations, Omolora Eson, the CSC undertook a detailed review and thorough investigation into the Council's records and governance practices. The findings uncovered recurring violations of both the NYCN Constitution and critical provisions of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, particularly sections 833 and 834. These infractions led the CAC to recognize all existing claims to leadership, trusteeship, and management within the organization, effectively nullifying the current leadership structure. The prolonged leadership crisis within the NYCN, which has persisted for over 18 years, was a key factor in the CAC's stringent measures. The Commission acted under the statutory powers granted to it by Sections 8.1 paragraph C and 8.1d of CAMA 2020. In the wake of the deregistration, the CAC constituted an interim management committee tasked with managing excuse me, and stabilizing the council's affairs for 1 year, effective from October 6, 2025. The withdrawal of the certificate also follows recent court directives restraining some factions within NYCN from conducting national elections amid the ongoing leadership. And now to some business news. Senate has confirmed that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has submitted responses to 19 audit queries concerning an unaccounted 210 trillion naira covering financial years 2017 to 2023. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Public Accounts, Senator Aliyu Walada Nasarawa West, who made the disclosure, explained that although the NNPCL had responded to the committee's questions, the Senate has yet to critically examine the submissions. The queries relate to discrepancies in the audited accounts of the National Oil Company, which the Senate has described as lacking transparency. The committee had issued a 3-week deadline to NNPCL's Chief Executive Officer, Engineer Bayo Ojudari, on July 29 to provide answers regarding the 210 trillion naira flagged in audit reports. Senator Walada assured Nigerians that the committee would conduct a thorough and impartial review of NNPCL's responses before taking any public position. Beyond the audit queries, Walada reviewed that additional concerns have surfaced around NNPCL's operations, including its production sharing contract and the recent disclosure that NNPC retailed a subsidiary of the company recorded financial losses. He concluded by assuring Nigerians that once the committee reviews the responses, it will make its findings public. House of Representatives has pledged to recover the $9 billion lost annually to illicit mining activities in Nigeria. Speaking at the inauguration of Ad Hoc Committee on Illegal Mining, Chairman Sani Abdurrahim described illegal mining as a scourge that undermines national revenue, fuels criminality, and degrades the environment. He said the theft of these resources, issue of the criminality and environmental degradation, which has not only fueled insecurity, but they also lead to the pollution of our waterways, the degradation of our forests, and the displacement of vulnerable communities has gone on far too long, and it is time to put an end to it. Abdurrahim said that every naira generated from the country's rich natural resources should contribute to the nation's economic prosperity. The chairman assured that the Green Chamber would leave no stone unturned as it stands firmly on the constitutional mandates entrusted to it by Nigerians.
Illegal mining, as we all know, is a scourge that has devastated effect on our nation. From the massive revenue losses to the criminalities that undermine our security and rudely alter our environment. It is estimated that Nigerians lost approximately $9 billion annually to illegal mining activities. This theft of our resources that should be enriching our nation has gone on for too far a long time. It is time to put an end to it. Our mission is very clear. It is to block these revenue leakages, enforce transparency, and ensure that every naira from our natural resources is properly accounted for.
Representative of Commandant General of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Commander of Mining Marshals ACC Ata John Onoja assured the committee of the support of the Corps. He disclosed that since the launch of the Mining Marshals operation in March 2024, the NSCDC has arrested over 500 illegal miners, with about 270 currently facing trial. He said the Corps has recently secured convictions that reflect the seriousness of enforcement efforts. Onoja noted that the operation specifically targets illegal mining, safeguards critical national assets, and promotes compliance among legal operators.
Over 500 illegal miners have been arrested in the course of this operation. And this particular number that we're talking about, over 270 are currently facing trial as we speak today. Just 3 weeks ago, we secured convictions, and all these are efforts geared towards ensuring that we demarcate illegal mining activity in Nigeria. Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, as an agency, is assuring this honorable committee of our maximum cooperation, maximum support, where necessary, to ensure that this all-important task is achieved. Permit me to, at this point, state clearly that much as we have benefits as a nation in carrying out this operation of fight against illegal mining, it is not without challenges. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, specifically members of the mining marshal operation, thought it wise to carry out this assignment within the understanding of patriotism. And the limitations we have today are what we refer to as challenges, which will take us to the idea of strengthening the legal frameworks that will ensure that we have effectiveness in the prosecution of this particular operation.
The House of Representatives set up the ad hoc committee with the task to block revenue leakages, enforcing transparency and ensuring that the Nigeria's mineral wealth contributes fully to economic development. Nigerian Association of Liquefied Petroleum Gas Marketers has raised concern over the rising prices of cooking gas across the country, saying that the current prices are artificial. The national president of the association, Oladapo Olatubosun, raised the alarm when he appeared as a guest on a television program on Wednesday. Olatubosun was reacting to the current product scarcity caused mainly by the crisis between members of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria and the Dangote Refinery. The strike had resulted in prices skyrocketing between about 1,700 and 2,000 naira per kilogram, depending on the location, and at 3,000 naira in some extreme cases. However, while speaking on Wednesday, Olatubosun said there had been no official increment in prices, blaming the price hike on market opportunists. He explained that the reasons behind the current LPG scarcity, according to him, the prices per kilogram should not be more than 1,300 naira per kilogram. He assured that the scarcity will soon be a thing of the past, and as products are being trucked out across the country. You are still watching the news on Atlantic Television Network. Up next is International Tidbits. Ethiopia is accusing neighboring Eritrea of teaming up with the banned political faction to launch a new war. The allegation contained in a letter to the United Nations Secretary General has heightened tensions in the Horn of Africa. In a letter obtained by newsmen, Ethiopia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs claims Eritrea and the proscribed Tigray People's Liberation Front are working together to fund, mobilize, and direct armed groups in the Amhara region. The letter addressed to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says the coalition between the Eritrean government and the TPLF has become more evident over the past few months. Neither Eritrea's Information Minister Yemane Gebremeskel nor the TPLF has responded to the allegations. Relations between the two neighbors have long been tense. Eritrea gained independence from Ethiopia in 1993, followed by a deadly border war that claimed tens of thousands of lives. Though the two countries restored ties in 2018, relations have again turned frosty since the end of the Tigray War in 2022, with Asmara accusing Addis Ababa of eyeing its Red Sea port of Assab. Authorities in Argentina have arrested the Nigerian national Ikechukwu N for allegedly orchestrating multiple romance scams targeting thousands of women. He was apprehended after being placed on the International Criminal Police Organization wanted list. The arrest marks a significant milestone as it is Argentina's first apprehension of a red notice fugitive who was also the subject of an Interpol silver notice. The operation was carried out jointly by the Argentine Federal Police and the Airport Security Police. In a statement is released on Tuesday, Interpol disclosed that the Nigerian was accused of leading an international cybercrime network. Ecuador's President Daniel Noboa escaped unharmed after his motorcade was targeted by stone-throwing protesters and what one minister described as a volley of gunshots on Tuesday. Noboa was inaugurating a water treatment plant in central Ecuador when his motorcade was set upon by a large group protesting against rising fuel prices. She said 5 people were arrested and will stand trial on terrorism charges, an offense carrying a maximum punishment of 30 years in jail. A video released by the government, reportedly filmed from inside the motorcade, shows protesters standing in the road draped in flags, scrambling to collect large stones and bricks. As the presidential SUV passed, projectiles studded into the panel and shattered windows. A voice can be heard shouting, heads down, as the vehicle sped away. Officials said they were still investigating whether some of the impact marks on Nuba's armored Chevrolet Suburban were caused by gunfire. Here now is ATN Sports News. Cristiano Ronaldo has become the first active footballer to reach billionaire status according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, which listed the Portuguese star's net worth for the first time this year. Bloomberg valued the 40-year-old Al Nassr forward at $1.4 billion, taking into account his career earnings, endorsement deals, and investments. The index credited Ronaldo's tax-free contract in Saudi Arabia and brand partnerships with Armani and Nike as key drivers of his rising fortune. As reported by on Wednesday, Ronaldo, already football's highest paid player, further boosted his wealth earlier this year when he signed a 2-year contract extension with Al Nassr, reportedly worth over $400 million, keeping him at the Saudi Pro League side beyond his 42nd birthday. ATN reports that speaking to Canal 11, Ronaldo, who holds the men's international goal record with 141 goals in 222 appearances, said he has no plans to retire despite pressures from his family. The 5-time Ballon d'Or winner also received the prestige award at the Portugal Football Globes on Tuesday. That's what excites me, competing with the younger ones. I still have a passion for this. Irish fighter Conor McGregor has accepted an 18-month ban for violating the UFC's anti-doping policy. The UFC, in a statement on Tuesday, reviewed McGregor missed 3 attempted biological sample collections within a 12-month period in 2024. It also explained that the usual 24-month ban was reduced due to McGregor's cooperation with CSAT's investigation. However, his ban, which begins September 20, 2024, will end on March 20, 2026. This means McGregor will be eligible to fight at the White House event on June 14. Last week, Donald Trump confirmed that the UFC card taking place at the White House will take place on June 14 next year, which will be his 80th birthday. Nigerian youngster Olawale Ayodele has sealed a move with Hungarian top flight side Zalaegerszegi Zegi. Ayodele joined Zalaegerszegi from Nationwide League One side Real Sapphire. The details of the contract have not been disclosed by both clubs. He featured for the Lagos-based side in the NLO last season. The young side is expected to showcase his pace, technical ability, and eye for goal with his new club. Ayodele joins the ranks of young Nigerian talents who have moved abroad in recent times. And now, entertainment news. Nollywood actress Aduni Ade has announced that she won her fundamental human rights case against Poland's Media Limited, publishers of Niger News, over a report linking her romantically to Senator Dino Melaye. The judgment, delivered by Justice L.I.O. Harrison of the Lagos State High Court, granted in her favor, reaffirmed her right to privacy as protected under the Nigerian Constitution. According to the court document cited by newsmen, the matter was titled in the matter of an application by Aduni Adewale for the enforcement of her fundamental human rights to privacy as guaranteed by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999. The suit, which began in January 2023, stemmed from a publication on NigerNews.com titled 6 popular Nigerian actresses who have been accused of dating Dino Melaye. The actress was listed among those allegedly linked romantically to the politician. Aduni Ade maintained that the story was false, misleading, and offensive, arguing that it misrepresented her personal life and violated her rights to privacy. She said the publication caused her emotional distress and was done without her consent to attract web traffic. Announcing her victory in a post shared on Instagram on Tuesday, Ade wrote that this judgment reaffirms that privacy matters and so does integrity, adding that justice delayed isn't justice denied. American rapper Kerry Cephos, popularly known as Offset, has finally addressed the long-standing rumors suggesting he had an affair with fellow rapper Sawiti. In a podcast interview, Offset described the allegations as completely false and unnecessary. The former Migos member also opened up on his split from Grammy-winning rapper Cardi B, admitting that his own mistakes led to the collapse of their marriage. Despite their separation, the rapper expressed deep respect for Cardi B, referring to her as bro, and clarified that their divorce has not yet been finalized. Offset further reflected on his personal journey, revealing that he has been coping with grief following the death of his cousin and bandmate Takeoff, who was tragically killed in 2022. Determined to turn his life around, the rapper said he is now focused on self-improvement and healing. And that's the global news for tonight. Before we go, another look at the major stories. Rivers Police deny court order stopping tinted glass enforcement. IPAC calls for independent panel to appoint INEC chairman. Reps dismiss US bill alleging religious persecution in Nigeria. NAPGAM blames middlemen for cooking gas price hike. Ethiopia accuses Eritrea of plotting to launch new war. Cristiano Ronaldo joins Millionaires Club worth $1.4 billion. Offset speaks on rumored affairs with Saudi failed marriage. I am Favor Chikwesri Michael. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on our social media platforms, on Twitter at Atlantic TV Net, on Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, on Instagram at Atlantic TV Network. And not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do have a pleasant night's rest.